Hi, everyone. This is Jack Allwell with another Money episode. Today, we have very special guests, F.A. Burak, John Essen, and returning guest, Joseph Hadaway from Marketplace. And before we get into what Marketplace is, I'd like to ask, what was your relationship with money like growing up?
I guess I'll go first. Thanks, Jack, for having us. When I was a kid, my family was a little bit well off, I would say. I guess that affected me in the adverse way, where I was like trying to spend as little money as possible. I was like specifically setting boundaries around money. I remember in high school, I used to like take the bus, like the city bus, to get to school. I know that is like not a big deal for most people, but it's kind of like because in Turkey, I grew up in Turkey. In Turkey, people just like take shuttle buses. Every school had their own, and I was just going on my own, like just trying to spend as little as possible, just trying to get by, like just by $10 every weekend or something like that. As I grew older, um, I looked into my independence when it comes to money from my parents because of that upbringing. So everything I do, I've kind of done it on my own. So I I got scholarships from colleges. I had my master's here in the U.S. and then I got into finally one of the FANG companies as an engineer. Which at that point I didn't have to worry about the money. I never actually had to worry about the money, just to be clear. But at the same time, I also didn't want to spend too much money, which I think is my like family's money. It's not my money. That's my mindset when it comes to money.
Gotcha.
I
John?
guess I can go next. I mean, me and Efe are like longtime friends, and I've lived through witnessing exactly what he said is 110% true. So I can entirely vouch for that. He was probably the most careful in terms of like expenditures and trying to cut, unnecessary spending, what we call when we were growing up. So definitely something that I admire. In my case, I guess I did not have maybe as wealthy, but definitely like I would say within the country's context, relatively upper middle class. Both my parents were bank branch managers, so they weren't like super high up in the HQ, but like more like branch manager type. So my financial literacy was therefore not so much of a problem because it was always a topic, like a centerpiece topic in the dinner at the dinner table or anywhere else we go. So I'm blessed with that. And I have a degree in economics, and then I have my grad school degree also in a relevant field. And I've been working in a financial technology company for the last 12 years. So I would say my relationship with money, although I didn't have a crazy abundance of it, I did not grow up in a relatively impoverished neighborhood or environments. And I guess I've been getting to know investment side of things relatively recently, but in terms of money management, in terms of like a balance sheet, if you want to call it, or a ledger at the individual level, I've been always conscious, and I would say above average education, which really helped me to get to where I am. And it's also of a personal interest because of my upbringing. So that's probably the best way I can phrase it.
Awesome. Joseph?
Hey, get to answer this again. I said this before we hit recording. I hope this answer matches the first time I answered the question. Yeah, so growing up, I like to say we could have been better. We could have been worse. Was blessed enough. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and we didn't really miss any meals. But, that said, we also weren't on going, regular vacations. And sometimes when something breaks just a little bit, it's good enough. We were that level of money. I think would be the best way to describe it. I also like to say my parents never once brought up money growing up unless I broke something expensive. So that kind of led to a weird boom bust cycle for me where for a while, I didn't know how much money we had, so therefore we must have a lot. Then it kind of turned into, well, I don't know how much money we have, therefore we have none. Kind of led to a bit of a scarcity mindset for a while, and I'd say I'm kind of at a point of recovering from that a little bit now, but I can say in my current money habits, it still affects me to this day.
Gotcha. Well, guys, let's get to the guts of the conversation. And just so the listeners stick around to the end, there is a $50 Amazon gift card at stake. So you'll definitely want to listen in. So, okay, guys, so Marketplace of marketplace.com. What was the impetus to start this up, and what is Marketplace? Why did you start it? Why don't we start there?
Sure, I guess I'll start. So I'll start this conversation with saying that I'm a retail investor, and I am a terrible retail investor at heart. So I've had my struggles with this thing. So I first got into it in 2015, I believe. I bought like Nvidia stocks, it went up, and then I bought something else, it went down, and then I somehow got into options and lost a lot of money. So basically, my experience with that was that I didn't know anybody that was actually at the same time doing the same thing. So I didn't really have the social support to be able to gauge what I was doing was correct or wrong. But like I didn't have anybody to bounce off ideas off. And I really didn't have any idea what I was doing. I was just buying stock because I like it, you know. You've heard that before. Anyway, so basically what we wanted to do, and I was talking with John at the time, I was saying, wouldn't it be great if there was an actual platform that you can find your own niche that you want to invest in? Let's just say that you're interested, you think that quantum chips are gonna be like big in 10 years, but who do you know that actually knows about quantum chips? Probably nobody. Like it's very low chance that somebody's both interested and knowledgeable about the subject. So we wanted to make a platform where you can find those people, and that you can actually create a portfolio together by voting on individual stocks. So like, let's say that you think on your let's just say that you're on your quantum chip hub, is what we call them, is just forums that everybody can create. And then you say, I think IBM is going to be big. So you put in IBM, and then somebody else puts in Intel. Everybody votes on something, and then that basically gets boiled down in our backends as a portfolio. It doesn't actually track it doesn't actually have any money value in it, but it is tracking your portfolio, and you can actually see how that's performing. You can then talk about those stocks on the platform. There's also chat functionality. So basically we're targeting those scattered groups of WhatsApp and Discord groups that are mostly pump and dumps and traps for people. We want to basically get those people on our platform to a safe space where we don't allow pumps and dumps. So you can get on there and then be sure that the person that you're interacting with isn't going to be actually swindling you somehow.
So on that note, how do you go about preventing like a pump and dump situation?
Moderation. So we basically have two levels of moderation. One level is everybody can create their own forum and they can have their own guidelines, but we also have a site-wide moderation going where we're looking for keywords such as pump and that kind of stuff. We're looking into those things. So we're not going to be allowing that sort of thing. So we want to basically create a safe and easy way to research and identify those stocks for you. It's a social platform at first, and then secondary stock market trading functionality platform. So we're also building new features every single day. It's still growing, so we're looking for feedback about that as well.
Gotcha. In terms of like maybe comparing it to something people are maybe a little more familiar with, like Wall Street Bets on Reddit, like how would you compare like the two?
So that's actually a good point, because I was actually when I first started investing, I always been big on Reddit. So Wall Street Bets, I happened upon it, but this was way before all the I like the stock thing. So at the time, it was such a cesspool. It really was. It's like, I mean, it was funny. It was funny to be on. It was fun. Like everybody was just like, "Hey, look at my losses and stuff like that." But at the end of the day, you grow up and you realize that losing money is not actually funny. And then, so what we are similar in nature where it comes to sharing topics and discussing in the slow way. Those are called topics posts. We also have chat functionality, which is faster, but we also have specific stock market related features. Like I talked to you about the portfolio tracking thing. You can also dive deep into individual stocks. You can mention those. You can look where they are. You can find similar stocks. We also have a tagging system where you can look for the same tags of the stocks, so to be able to find similar companies. We have earnings functionalities. Every single earnings, we automatically create a discussion, and then we have sentiments, polling. There's all the sort of like, all our features are basically centered around our hubs. The hubs is the forum that you create. And everything that you do sentiment wise gets reflected on the website. It is very easy to use, very easy to actually like do your due diligence or find people who has already done the due diligence, because we have features for that too, actually, just quarterly topics based on companies.
Gotcha. So John, I guess I'll pose this question to you. What do you think the biggest like value proposition is for a potential user of Marketplace?
Excellent question. And I think it's very much relevant to the specific example you've just given, like Wall Street Bets, like what distinguishes us, what is the, I guess, like additional value proposition that's stands out, I guess. So in terms of the problem that we are trying to solve, it's multifaceted, I guess. So there's this social aspect that we are trying to tackle, which is like, you're a retail investor, you feel alone. Your only option should not be a forum that doesn't even have proper graphs, or it doesn't even have like any social functions other than like posting and talking to people, or just memes. Basically, we're trying to keep it, I mean, you can post memes, but we're trying to keep it a little bit serious too, in a way, in terms of being it more factual. Like in terms of, for example, one of your questions was, how do you sort of moderate in a way that the false FUD nowadays they call the FUDs is spread it out. One thing is like for certain parts of the website, like especially within the hubs, certain references can be only done through a pre-filtered, pre-selected websites like Forbes, CNBC, etc. You can't just like create a blog and like start spreading out information and put that sort of like website down as a reference. So certain things needs to be almost like filtered, vetted against the general admin moderation. So we got the social aspect, we've got the data that we get from the exchange, i.e. xCloud and Alpha Vantage. So we've got the data from an official exchange. And we also let people keep track of the market sentiment by checking what is expected for the earnings, or what are the most like talked about stocks, top movers, what people are bearish on. So you have market sentiment that you can real-time follow. You got the data and graphs that you can real-time follow, either on the individual stock pages or in the individual portfolio pages, as well as people post and share news, obviously some hot news. And then on top of all these, there's these social functions such as chats, voting on each individual portfolio, and just posting each other's comments, upvote, downloads, gift giving is coming. So it's almost like a combination of these three. And eventually the goal is these portfolios that FA is mentioning, the individual portfolios, we're looking to allow trading so that people can actually execute trades through Marketplace, not us as a broker that actually buys and sells or holds the balance, but through some partnerships that we are currently trying to implement.
Gotcha. And just to be clear, is this strictly equities, or like would people be able to vote like, I want a higher percentage of gold or silver?
Oh, that's a very good question. So for now, I can maybe take the first part and FA can complete. Currently, we're only getting US-based stocks or Canadian equities that are based in NASDAQ and NYSE. And then we also have the ETFs that are listed in either of the exchange. So that's the only thing. But eventually, I think we will expand the value prop to other sorts of instruments. But FA, if you wanted to.
Yeah, I agree. So the commodities, we don't have commodities just yet, or options or futures, but we are looking to implement those in the future, but just not yet.
Gotcha. Okay. But there's nothing preventing someone from starting some sort of discussion on Marketplace about some of those topics.
Not at all. We actually have a rate hub as well. So like we've been doing the same thing. We don't have the data for it just yet, but we have hubs specific to those.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, this might be a weird question, but what question do you want me to ask you that you want to answer that explains something about Marketplace?
I mean, you individually, I guess, like I'd be curious about, if you are a retail investor, what are your frustration points as an individual retail investor? Like, would you like to be a part of a larger group of niche like-minded people that you feel comfortable, ask questions away? I know that you mentioned Reddit, so you might be active there or some other places, but what sort of social media you are in right now to keep track of stocks and talk to people about them?
Yeah, X, I do a lot of personal finance. I've actually gotten a little bit into Forex. I've been dabbling in Forex recently, but I also sell a lot of options on stocks that I currently own. It's just extra income.
Mhm.
But I actually I don't have I did like going on Wall Street bets during the AMC and GameStop stuff.
the
But
moon.
I don't regularly go on Wall Street bets. But it would be cool, yeah, to have like some sort of forum to discuss these things.
Mhm.
Also, I don't know, is there going to be like video? Like will people be able to get into like chats perhaps?
In the future, we're thinking about something like that, like a
Okay.
streaming thing.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, I mean, we are targeting film influencers specifically on fintech side, as that they can create their hubs, and then we were looking to do like more like a Patreon sort of subscription based model, where like
Okay.
instead of actually doing Patreon, we have this website. We'll provide you with the forum. We'll provide you with the chat functionality. You can also show your portfolio. You can charge your followers as much as you want. Well, not too much, obviously, but so we are also looking into providing something like that as well. But that's in the near future, not just now.
Gotcha. Okay. And I mean, how do people go sign up? What do they have to do?
All you have to do is go on marketplace.com, click on sign up. It's on the right, top right. Just click on that. And then actually we can talk about the giveaway a little bit. Maybe Joseph can take that away.
Yeah, I will jump in there. For everybody listening, we are giving away a $50 Amazon gift card, and we'll localize that wherever you are, US, Canada, wherever it may be. $50 in your local currency. All you have to do is go to marketplace.com and sign up for a new account. Join our H/dividend stocks. That's the Dividend Stocks Hub, and either make a comment or a new discussion topic. And at the end of the year, probably 1/1/2024, we're going to do a drawing for one random person who completed those conditions, and we're going to send you a gift card.
Awesome. That's cool giveaway there. Well, as we are winding down, I do like to ask everyone, what is the best and worst personal finance advice you have either heard or received? You can make it as fun or as serious as you want.
I can talk about the time where I gave myself the advice, if you want.
Sure.
The worst one. So I don't know if you remember, like I said, so 2017 or something, Intel and AMD had this Spectre and Meltdown bugs. Me being an engineer, I understood the problem. So AMD's problem was software, Intel's problem was hardware. So I assumed Intel would go down, AMD would go up. So what did I do? I bought puts on Intel and then bought calls on AMD, and then the opposite happened, and I think I lost like $20,000 just on that.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that happened. So that's basically one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, because like you don't know what the market's gonna do. It might make sense to you, but if I had someone to actually like talk this over, I probably wouldn't have done that.
Interesting.
Yeah. And if I can go next, like very quickly, like my best advice is to basically like while you're in your prime time, like making money, try to invest in things that will generate you passive income or any sorts of income, and try to think it off like going to the gym, right? Like you can't be all ripped and jacked in one day or 1 week or 1 month, but if you keep it consistently, not only that you're going to feel good and look good, but you will always be healthier, I guess, supposedly, right? So I started to see investing this way too. So on the plus side, I would say dividend stocks, real estate, anything that will generate you while equity is growing up. So dividend stocks might go up, but you will also get yielded dividends on top. Same with real estate, you get rental payments once the house is paid off. Basically, that's a good passive income stream. Depends on your personal choices, but I mean, everybody would love to leave their 9-to-5 job and like retire early. So that's probably the best advice. Like, make sure that you understand you're in the long haul. There's no like get rich quick, I guess, methodology at least doesn't work for me. You can be really lucky. Like you said, like Wall Street bets in the middle of like COVID, you probably could make a lot of money like overnight, but I don't think it's possible for every day. And the worst advice is actually very much similar to this, but on the contrary, trying to do day trading or doing any type of like short-term like transactions, like obsessively and passionately without having the sufficient base and technical knowledge behind you would be one of the worst advices I would say. So stay away from like those type of like day trading type transactions if you don't have the technical knowledge behind it.
Gotcha.
And then I will close that out. I would say for my best advice, humble yourself. If you think you are the smartest person in the room, go to a different room. There is somebody out there who has tried what you tried, failed, succeeded. Listen to them, take some advice. One of the worst things you can do in the finance world, or really anything, a lot of things, most things I'd say, is go at it alone and refuse to listen to advice or others. And that's part of what we've been building the platform on, is the idea is there's somebody out there who has probably tried what you're about to try, and they either know that you're about to lose a lot of money or can help you out with it. And you just got to be open to that guidance. And
Awesome.
I'm gonna 100% steal from John. Worst take or worst advice is going at anything for the short term. It's not worth it, and more than likely you're going to lose money on it.
Awesome. Well, yeah, good advice all around. How about give a handoff? Where can the listeners go sign up for Marketplace? And if they want to get in touch with you guys specifically, where can they reach you?
Yeah, absolutely. They can sign up for completely free on marketplace.com. I'd say best place to reach us is on Twitter at Marketplace app. Our DMs are always open. I read every single one of them, I promise. Or also send us an email. I'm Joseph at marketplace.com. We are all first name at marketplace.com. Reach out to any of us. More than happy to talk. Any questions, feedback, suggestions, we are here to listen.
Awesome. Well, you guys are building something great, and wish you all the success.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jack.
Thanks.